Welcome to the Digital Remodeler Podcast. I'm so glad you've chosen to join us today. And with me is George Shafazand with Elevated Edge Construction in San Jose, California. George, thank you for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, so George, let's start off. Let's kind of back up and talk about how you got into the industry. You've got kind of an interesting story. You've kind of gone from the commercial construction side into the residential side, but let's kind of back up and really talk about how you got involved in the construction industry to begin with, and then we'll kind of work our way forward.
Yeah, sure. So back in 2007, I was doing property management, and with it comes a lot of renovations. Tenant moves out, tenant wants to come in, they want a TI, they want to do this, that. So that's how the commercial construction, I started learning of how the contractors were doing it. And then our brokerage also did residential as well. So when the tenant moved out, we had to replace the carpet and, replace the drywall or remodel the kitchen and the bathroom. And I was doing almost like 50 remodels on the residentials per year. And on the commercial side, we were doing at least on an average of maybe 3 buildings a year. And the square footage on the commercial was averaging, minimum of 4,000 square feet up to 179,000 square feet. So like a new company was moving in, they wanted the new offices, they wanted new bathroom, separate kitchen for the employees, like a little meeting room for the clients, all that. So I learned from the commercial side and the residential side, both coming up.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you learn that, what really kind of made you decide, I think I want to take this under wing and kind of move into this as my own business, not just do this, as part of the property management side, but really expand into this.
Yeah. So as a kid, I was always fascinated in repairing stuff. Like working on cars or building something always fascinated me. So the more I was looking at the construction aspect of it, it was really, getting very interesting for me. And I just wanted to start getting into it myself and do it. So I put a little small crew together and we started doing the remodels at the residential side. And then the owner of the company came in and says, "Hey, George, this tenant moved out. Can you give me 3 bids?" I says, "Yeah, can I give you 1 bid myself?" And he was kind of surprised. He goes, "You?" I'm like, "Yeah." I says, "I can do it." He goes, "Okay, well, give me a bid." So I give him a bid, and mine obviously was lower than everybody else. And he says, "You know what you're doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you don't like it, don't pay for it." So we got it done, and he was kind of amazed of how things turned out. So then I had to come out of the brokerage office and become his contractor. So then I went and got my license, and one thing led to another, and we started doing commercial and residential.
Excellent, excellent. So, when you kind of looking at your growth curve, what things do you think you did right? And if you were to go back and do it all over again, what things do you think, yeah, maybe I could have done that a little better?
Yeah, well, things that I did right at the beginning were that I kept my communication with the client on a daily basis, because I was on the other side as a client myself, and like I was trying to get a hold of the contractor. I would call them and text them. Nobody would call me or text me or nothing. So I was getting frustrated. I would go to the job site and there were a lot of people, "Oh, we don't know." everybody said we don't know. So one of the things that I did right, I think, and it turned to be a success in our business was daily communication with the ongoing project, whatever it is. Oh, they sent us the wrong material. Oh, I'm sorry, my framer, missed the angle, and we have to replace it. As long as they're in the know, nothing will, go wrong. So, and if I had to go back and change something, I would definitely get a good CRM to handle the business. In other words, right now we are using House Pro, and we found House Pro after trying, I want to say, at least 6 other platforms. And at one point in time, I was paying for like 10 of them, close to like 5,000 a month, because this thing would do something, the other one would do the other thing, and then I would try to combine them all together. Then a few years ago, we found House Pro, which does everything. And the biggest thing with the CRM is that it helps you increase your business. In other words, it helps you maintain the know of what's going on a daily basis, your labor, your cost of material, your customer base, literally everything. So, and then the biggest thing with the House Pro was that, everywhere I did to go for like do a remodel, I had to do a floor plan, or I had to do like a 3D sketch, and I had to go to Google Sketch and Sketch Pro, all these different sites. So finally I found these guys, and this really saved the day. So because that will take a lot of your time trying to create an estimate, try to, put in the customer's name, address, zip code, and then if you don't have a place to save it, you have to go redo it again. Anyway, make a long story short, good CRM is number 1, and 2 is, if I had to go back and change again, was to watch out for where I buy the materials. That's a big one. And third is to don't, I shouldn't say this, but maybe don't trust this sub to think they got to do everything, because they will say, oh yeah, we do everything, or we know everything. No, they don't. When they say we do everything, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. So yeah, hopefully I rectified all those problems early on in the career, and everything's going smooth. So
Yeah, good.
yeah. And then the
So
biggest one, so sorry to interrupt. The biggest one was to do the correct marketing. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. The correct marketing is keeps your business going.
Good. We're going to dive back into that one in a minute. So
Yeah.
let's talk about as you started to grow, there comes different things, I call them breaking points in your growth cycle.
Yeah.
So what were, CRM was part of that, design software part of that. What were some of the other adjustments you had to make in your growth to accommodate, the growth of your business?
Again, going back, it will be the subs, because I would get the contract, the customer would pay the deposit, and then from that moment on, if you have your own employees, that's a different story. But I try to work with subs, because number 1 is write-off. Number 2 is it will save you a lot more on the business side. So finding the right sub was the biggest thing. And making sure that they finish what they start, and they are there every day. And if they're not, they have to communicate with me that they're not going. So those are the stuff that I found. Like, I had a sub that was supposed to show up at a house at 8 a.m. And at 10:30 a.m., the customer calls me and goes, George, where is this guy? Or where are you guys? I'm like, isn't he there yet? No. So that by itself like made me look really bad in front of the customer. So I started looking for better subs. And a friend of mine said, hey, George, you want to find a good sub? Find someone who's got a really nice truck. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, if they have a very nice truck, that means they care about their business because now they're driving an expensive truck. And turned out to be true,
Oh,
honestly.
wow.
Yeah. Well, honestly, turned out to be very true.
Good.
Mhm.
So that brings up another question though, now that when you find a good sub, how do you make sure you keep those good subs?
Okay, so subs, um, it's where it all begins when you shake hands with them, and I have all my subs sign a contract. So there is no misunderstanding. The scope of work is there. They know exactly what they need to do. And I tell them that, hey, this is a high level job. You cannot be doing a patchwork or anything. So, and then I tell them, I'm like, you want to get paid? You need to invoice me at least 5, 7 days before. You cannot just show up on my door and say, hey, usually they show up at your door on a Friday afternoon and say, hey, I need a check. Well, did you send me an invoice? So getting an invoice from your sub and training them to get paid, on a certain days. Nowadays, we only pay on the 15th and the 30th, and they need to invoice us 5 days ahead of time. So that's one way I keep them really regulated, and they love me for it because they know they're going to get paid, and they know that they just have to follow the rule. And then I sometimes I even reward them. Like they finish a job. Recently, we had a bathroom remodel. They finished it exactly on the budget, and then I really liked the way they worked, so I give them another $500 spend.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if you keep them busy all the time, then they will love you forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So you dove into this topic a few moments ago in the marketing, and that was one of the core lessons you've learned
yeah,
along the way. So talk about that. What have you learned about the importance of marketing and the do's and don'ts of marketing
yeah.
along the way?
So, um, including me, everybody knows, oh, I can do my own marketing. Well, I have news for everybody. No, it's not. Unless you come from the marketing background, you don't. Because there is so many platforms out there right now. There's so many analytics out there. Like, everybody tries to get on Google, and okay, get on Google, but it took me almost, I don't know how many years till I found you guys to really position me correctly in the Google.
Hmm.
Because you put in your name, business address, and everything, and then you don't know what Google is looking for to recommend you to whoever is looking. So these are the stuff that, the more you do it yourself, then you start putting ads and this and that is costing you money where it's not giving you any ROI. Where you're gonna hire an agency that knows how to do it, it frees you up from sitting behind a computer, wasting your day trying to get, to people to notice you, where you could be out there getting more contracts. So it is well worth it to pay a marketing agency where they know how to market you. They know Google, they know Instagram, they know Facebook, they know Yelp, they know where to position you in order to get more contracts. Because just I'm in San Jose. In San Jose alone, there is 2,786 general contractors. So imagine that. I'm one, so I have to compete against all the rest of them. And a lot of them being here a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And only 10 spaces on the front page of Google.
exactly. Exactly. There you have it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
funny thing was talking to your your agent the other day, Brian, he's super knowledgeable. He was the one who says, and I agree with him. I said, George, when people go to the bottom of the first page, hardly anybody goes to the second page. That is so true. So if you cannot get yourself on top of there, then
Yeah.
you have a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an ever-changing world, and and just continues to evolve. So you brought up something really important. Not just the marketing, but let's talk about this. How many contractors did you say? 2,000?
2,786.
Wow. Okay. So once you've been seen, here's the important question I want to ask you. How
Mhm.
do you differentiate yourself?
Right. So, biggest thing is right now, a lot of people, they see your name, they click on it, right? So once they click, they have an option either to text you or call you. I chose to receive the call because you can do a human interaction via voice. Okay. Texting is okay for people who are tech savvy. I'm not. I'm an old guy, and by the time I want to do one sentence, it's gonna take a whole day. So, making a long story short, I turn off the texting feature, turn on the voice feature, and the interaction you do with the customer on the other line is that puts you in a different position, on top of their list. You got to be very inviting. You cannot be pushy. Hey, let me come to your house right now. No, when is a good time for you? You know, mention that you're going to give them a free estimate. Do the ones that they say, oh no, I have to charge you for estimate, guarantee they never get any leads. So, and it's a cost of doing business. I mean, you got to drive. I drive tomorrow. I have to drive to Gilroy. It's about 30 minutes away from here to give a free estimate for the deck. But I know once the customer signs it, I'm going to walk from that size of the job that I saw in the pictures. I'm going to walk away with at least $18,000 to $20,000 net profit. And the
Mhm.
job is going to take no more than a week. So it is worth it to have that human interaction and to be very positive and very comforting. And a lot of people are afraid of contractors, just like they're afraid of auto dealers because they hear all these horror stories, right? But you gotta fit yourself out. You gotta have to show them that no, that's not the case. I'm here. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to take care of your needs. I'm not gonna sell you anything you don't need, and these are all your options. And yes, you can shop around and go to the other people and ask them.
Mm,
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
So along those lines, how do you set yourself apart in also some other ways, and kind of where I'm looking, like you said, people have some fear
Mhm.
of contractors. They've heard the horror stories.
Yeah.
So how do you help the psychological, fears? How do you show them that I do quality work? You can
Mhm.
trust me, even before they pick up the phone, so that they're even comfortable making that phone call. What are some of the ways that you found lower that defense, if you will?
Well, one of the things is, our Google reviews. And second thing is with the pictures we put on top on of our work, where they can see like we have done a deck job, and the wording that goes along with it. And a good point Brian brought up was to put the project estimate, so people, because they're always afraid of, oh, how much is this going to cost me? And basically have a very pleasant website, I would say. And I think the reviews would be the biggest part, that they feel, okay, well, this guy's got a bunch of 5-star reviews, so they must be doing something right.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah. And
There-
then yeah, so every time like we get a job from somewhere, We automate, for example, like deck work, when we send an estimate, we also send a picture of a recent job that we have done. And we always ask our clients, hey, in the future, if somebody wants to email you and ask you, is that okay? Yeah, no problem. So we include that email as well, that they can, check with the client and figure out how the job went.
Oh, that's I think a great bit of advice for, anybody listening is, we forget sometimes to turn our customers into advocates for us.
Exactly.
So I think that's phenomenal advice. So
Yeah.
that brings up a kind of a follow-on question
Mhm.
is how have you, found success with getting repeat business from your previous customers? What are some of the things you've done to generate repeat business from your, existing book of business?
Well, I mean, I want to say we are getting 98% repeat business from our clients. Those are the ones that, for example, we did a deck work on a customer and they call us to remodel their house. We did addition, they called us to put a pool. So it's where you have your relationship with your client. So they don't have to look for other contractor. Our website is very professionally done, thanks to Brian. And, our communication is really robust with the customer. Every time they call or text, we either pick up right away or we call within a minute or two back. And, delivering the goods on time, being there on time. So that basically builds a trust to your client, and they will give you repeat business or they refer you. We get 99% of our, I want to say, well, not 99%, I want to say probably 90% of our leads are referrals from the customer we just finished the job.
That's
So,
great.
yeah. So it's the way you handle your relationship with your client. I would say that.
Yeah, I think that you drive home a very important point. We have to remember it's a relationship business first and foremost,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
we have to take care of those relationships. Great. So as you've grown, obviously your team has grown. So let's talk a little bit about that. How do you make sure that as your team grows, you build the same values into the culture of your organization that you yourself have always consistently held as you were growing the business?
Yeah. So as you grow, you have to find more subs or hire more staff. And it is very important that you choose the right person to come to your, organization. Because if I'm, continuing to have a very nice and honest relationship with our clients, and then by mistake you hire someone that does not carry your value, it will kill you, literally. So I spend a good amount of time trying to find a good sub, and I'll go look at their work. And before I even bring them on, I make sure he talks to my other subs so he knows what our rules and regulations are. And for our office staff, we keep it really good, like a family style, where everybody feels like this is part of their own business, and they take care of it. It is very important that everybody in your organization feels responsible for the growth of that company. Not just, okay, I gotta go there, clock in at 8, I'm gonna go there and clock out at 5. No. They need to come here and they need to think, hey, this is my company. This is where I'm making my living at. So they put their 120% into the job.
Good. And then as we kind of, bring the plane down here, as you look ahead, what is kind of your vision for where you want to take your business in the future? What are some of the things you're kind of looking towards as you, see trends and things that are happening in the industry, and just even personally, what are kind of the steps you're looking at next?
Well, as you know, construction industry is always growing. So the new home built, it's growing, and the remodeling is growing. So what I'm envisioning is to get more contracts, probably find a couple of new builders that we can sign a contract for maybe, I don't know, 10 homes, 20 homes, and keep that as the main fee to the company, and then all the remodelings and stuff would be like short-term profit. So grow the company, and basically the more you grow, then you can afford to pay your employees more for what the work they're doing, and basically just grow sequentially between what we can handle and what we can get in. So that's very important, by the way, and just grow. And I see myself within this coming year to increase at least another maybe 2 to 3 million
Mm-hmm.
sales. Yeah. And he's
Good.
growing. And he's growing. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. One of the things that I see a lot of contractors doing is that diversified footprint.
Mhm. Yes.
Really doing that. So I think that's wise. Well, George, any final words of wisdom you would have for anybody listening today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody's doing a great job. Just the biggest thing is be truthful to your client, and continue doing a good job. And if you screw up, own it. Own it and put it under the right. Everybody makes mistakes. Some people will underbid themselves once in a while, and that happens. It has happened to you, it happens to everybody. Just continue marching on, keep up the good relationship with the client, and watch your company will grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to learn about George and Elevated Edge, they can find you at eecinc.us.
Yes.
And he's also on social media. George, thanks for spending time with us today.
Thanks, Carl.
And
Appreciate it.
thank you sharing your insights with us.
Thank you.